Well, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed your breakout sessions and had some good conversation. So, our next speaker really needs no introduction at all. And if during lockdown you've been following NAS on our Facebook Live sessions, you'll have seen Zoe Clark as the new poster girl, if I'm allowed to say that, the new face of NAS, really, with her weekly Facebook Live sessions and incredibly helpful advice on a whole range of topics, plus her support to Gary and Sally in our information services. So Zoe has AS and she is an osteopath, and a really great topic to end the day, a quick guide to self-management. So over to you, Zoe.
Hi everyone, my name is Zoe Clark. I'm an osteopath and I'm working with NAS during COVID-19 to help everyone self-manage their AS as well as possible. On average, you might spend 2 hours each year with a healthcare professional discussing your AS. That leaves 8,758 hours where you have to manage your condition on your own. This is a huge topic, but my presentation today will hopefully give an overview to help you build the confidence to self-manage your AS. Firstly, one of the most important things is to monitor your AS. Although there's lots you can do to self-manage, when you monitor it well, you're able to understand your AS, how it affects you, and also follow any patterns in your symptoms over time. Keeping a symptom diary or using an app like the MySPA app can be really helpful. With this app in particular, you can also email your results directly to a healthcare practitioner. And the BASDAI and BASFI scores are particularly helpful because these are the scores that are used by your rheumatology team to monitor your symptoms. You can do your scores every 2 to 4 weeks, either with the app or on basdai.com, and this helps you monitor your symptoms between appointments. Once you've monitored for a period of time, the scores can help you decide how well controlled your AS is. You may also notice patterns and decide if you need to change anything. So one of the first changes that I often advise people to do is to look at exercise, and it's really, really important that you consider this because it's one of the main ways you can manage AS long term. Luckily, you can do exercise at home and it can be adapted easily to suit your needs. If you're not sure about this, then do speak to a physiotherapist for some personalised exercises. There are 6 main areas that exercises can help with: strength, stretch, mobility, posture, balance, and cardiovascular fitness. In terms of strengthening, some of the main exercises you can do are walking and jogging, exercising with light weights, using gym and resistance machines, and classes such as Pilates, yoga, and hydrotherapy. Stretching and mobility, particularly helpful for this, are individual stretches advised by a physiotherapist, Pilates, yoga, and hydrotherapy. Posture and balance exercises include, again, individual exercises, Tai Chi and Qigong, and Pilates and yoga. And then cardiovascular exercise really includes anything that is an exercise that raises your heart rate. So this can include walking or jogging. You can use the stairs, swimming, hydrotherapy, and classes such as aerobics and Zumba. Once you've looked at your exercise regime, you may want to look at other ways you can help look after yourself with self-care. So hot and cold application, either locally on joints and muscles or in a larger area, can be really helpful because it can be really soothing and provide a lot of pain relief. So with cold, I recommend using an ice pack or frozen peas wrapped in a tea towel for around 5 to 10 minutes. And then with heat, I'd recommend using a hot water bottle wrapped in a towel for about 10 minutes. But if you want to use it on a larger area, then a heated blanket or jacket can be particularly helpful. Massaging muscles can help reduce muscle tension and provide some pain relief. You can do this with the heel of your hand in gentle circular movements, or use a tennis ball or spiky massage ball. And TENS machines as well can be very helpful for pain relief, but do check with your GP or your physiotherapist to ensure this is suitable for you. Pacing is a huge topic just on its own, but I think it is really important to look at in terms of self-managing AS. Pacing is all about balancing your activity and your rest to help manage your fatigue. It's very easy to get into this boom and bust cycle over time by overdoing it on a good day, so you get those peaks, and then spending days recovering afterwards in those troughs, as this shows. Keeping an activity diary, like the one we have in our guide, Living with AS Fatigue, can be really helpful to look at your activity over time and identify areas where you may be able to improve things. It can be very difficult, but it is important to pace well, even during good days. On these good days, you may also have to remind yourself about pacing more, but it really is well worth it. You can see from this graph that if you get into that boom and bust pattern where you're overdoing it on the good days, then you're having more bad days spent recovering, over time, this will slowly reduce your fitness and your energy reserves, meaning that fatigue can actually build up and get worse over time. If you keep that more even level activity over time and get those smaller peaks and troughs, you will gradually be able to get back control of that, build up your fitness, build your energy reserves, and this is going to have a huge impact on improving your morale as well. This is an example page from our fatigue diary and our activity diary. And so you can see that it's got the days of the week there and it's got hour blocks. And then at the bottom, there's a key. So you can colour in each hourly block with whichever activity you've done. So we have red for a high energy activity, yellow for a low energy activity, green for rest and relaxation, and blue for sleep. So this is a way, just at a glance, you can really see how you're dividing your time and how much time you're spending with different activities. Once you've monitored your symptoms and activities over time, you may find that you can make some small changes. So for example, you can prioritize tasks, so you do the most important thing first. If you find that you have lots of periods of high energy activity and then spending lots of time recovering afterwards, then breaking down activities into smaller tasks can be helpful for this. You can also find a pacing buddy and ask loved ones for help as well. And really don't be afraid to say no to activities as well. That's something it quite often takes a bit of time to learn how to do, but it can be really helpful. And you can plan meals in advance as well. For fatigue especially, eating well is really important to keep your energy levels up, but planning meals in advance means that you plan ahead for any busier times. And then spread your small rest periods throughout the day. So going back to the fatigue diary, you may find that actually you spend a lot of time doing a bigger activity and then you spend a lot of time recovering. If you put small rest periods in throughout the day, you may find that you're able to do the same amount of activity, but without getting that kickback of fatigue and pain afterwards. Sleep, again, is another very big topic on its own, but good quality sleep is going to help your fatigue, your pain levels, and your mood. If you're experiencing a lot of pain at night, then do speak to your rheumatologist or your physiotherapist for specialist advice, because there's lots that they can advise on. You can also speak to a pharmacist about the medication you're taking and possibly changing the timings to helping you sleep. Some really simple tips that can help sleep. You can use heat or ice just before bed to ease pain and make things more comfortable. I also recommend shopping around for a comfortable mattress and pillow. Everyone is different, so there's no one type that we recommend. Try to get up at the same time each day and go to the bed at the same time each night, and get out into daylight each day or sit by a window. This is to help you with your sleep-wake cycle and the hormones that are associated with that. And dim the lights and avoid bright screens in the evenings, and avoid caffeine and exercise before bed. Again, it's to promote that rest and relaxation and help with that sleep cycle. Other things that can help are trying some gentle stretches or a hot bath, some relaxation or breathing techniques, or a warm drink to relax before bed. Managing flares. In terms of managing flares over time, definitely speak to your rheumatologist, but forming a flare management plan with input from all the different healthcare professionals can be really helpful. No matter how well your AS is controlled, it's understandable that you may well get flares coming up every now and then. You want to speak to everyone involved in your care, so that could include a rheumatologist, physiotherapist, pharmacist, occupational therapist, counsellor, and many more people. In your flare management plan, make sure that you include what medications you're taking with the doses and timings so that you know how you can alter that during a flare. Any exercises that you find particularly helpful during a flare, self-care techniques that you can use, and a reminder of the relaxation techniques that work for you. Do include the important contact numbers for your health team as well in case you need to get in contact with them. And very importantly, have some reminders of good days to focus on. This can be really helpful for your mental health during those bad days. For your mental health, it goes hand in hand with your physical health, so I really can't stress the importance enough. There are lots of ways you can help to manage your mental health. So you can speak to a loved one. Counselling or CBT can be very useful. And find distraction and relaxation techniques that work for you, such as different exercises or hobbies. And do speak to your GP if you're experiencing a period of low mood that you can't seem to improve on your own, and have a written list of what helps you during difficult times. In regards to speaking to loved ones about your mental health and about how AS affects you, I recommend having this conversation on a good day, so when your pain isn't too high and when you're not too fatigued, so they're able to have a clear head and be able to discuss things well. It can be helpful to explain to loved ones that your symptoms can fluctuate over time and it's difficult to tell from the outside how you're feeling. Discuss different ways that they can support you on different days. So this can be very different depending on if it's a good day, an okay day, or a bad day. And have a system in place so that you can let them know how you feel each day, but without having to talk about it every day. So for example, you can have a note on the fridge, or you can use the NAS wristbands, green for a good day, yellow for an okay day, and red for a bad day. It's a way you can just simply let loved ones know how you're feeling, but without you having to talk about it all the time. So really, in conclusion, I hope you can see that there is lots that you can do to help manage your AS. And it's important to recognise that the things you find helpful may well differ over time. So having lots of different resources and tools is going to help. And do remember that there will still be bad days and days when it's difficult. On those days, even a small improvement with these self-care techniques can make a huge difference. For more information, please visit the My AS, My Life section on the NAS website, where we've got lots of information about self-managing your AS. And there are also lots of NAS guides available to download, or we can post out a copy to you.
Here are some resources for further reading, but I'm happy to answer any of your questions now.
That was wonderful. Thank you, Zoe. And just really to underscore what Zoe was saying at the end, if you haven't gone to the My AS, My Life part of our website, do so. I'm just sending the link now on our chat. In addition to our guides, there are now the new exercise videos, there are some blogs, and all of the Facebook live sessions that Zoe has done, and Diane Aronson and Sophie Matthew, they're all there. It's a great set of resources. So please, if you haven't gone onto that part of the website, do have a look at it. It's a really important resource. And in this time where, you know, normal services haven't resumed, self-management is especially important. We know at the moment that our branches, for example, can't open for face-to-face sessions until government advice changes. So these kind of online support and resources are critically important. So please do have a look at them. Okay, we have some time for some please. Oh, there are loads of questions already. Wow. Okay, good luck, Zoe. Right. Hi, Zoe. How does alcohol affect AS?
That is a good question. It's not my area of expertise in terms of sort of giving advice on diet and nutrition and so on, but certainly anecdotally from my own experience and from a lot of people I've spoken to, they do find that AS can trigger flare-ups. So it is worth experimenting and just seeing that if changing your alcohol consumption does have an effect. And obviously we would recommend, just in terms of a general healthy diet, not to have too much alcohol in your diet generally.
Thank you. I think there's a guide on our website about alcohol consumption too. Best exercise for cardiovascular if you're unable to walk too fast because of mobility issues?
That's a really good question, actually. Luckily, there is lots you can do. So obviously, sometimes the easiest thing is to be doing walking to get your heart rate up for cardiovascular exercise. But you can actually do a lot of exercises seated and still have that effect of getting your heart rate up. So I'd recommend using some light weights or tins and doing lots of arm movements, particularly kind of over your head. And also, if you've got the mobility in your hips, you can also do things like walking but seated. So just lifting your knees up. Anything that really gets you moving, even if you're not up, standing and walking, is going to get your heart rate up. There are also things like sitting rowing machines, static bikes, and even just sitting and using pedal machines can be really helpful as well, just to get your heart rate up.
Thank you, Zoe. Someone's asked about the sleep part of your presentation. I think they lost the video feed, but just to reassure everyone, we'll make all of the videos available afterwards. So if you've missed part of the content today, you can access it later on. A question about a product, a roaming foal massage. I'm not sure if you know that, pulseroll.com. There probably isn't time to look at that one right now, I suspect. Yeah. Don't worry. Are there any materials specifically that would help discussion with friends or relatives or loved ones, Zoe?
Absolutely. There are a few resources online. Certainly one thing I always recommend to look at is the spoon theory. If you Google spoon theory, then a PDF should come up of that. And it is something that I added, I think, to some of our talks on Facebook Live as well. That's particularly helpful for explaining fatigue to loved ones. But also I think NAS do have a guide as well in terms of discussing both with loved ones and with employers as well, some information about what AS is and how it can affect you. Definitely the key thing, as I said in the presentation, is when you're having these discussions, do it on a day that you're feeling quite well, because you're able to then be a bit more clear-headed and be able to discuss things a bit more easily than if you're in a lot of pain or if you're very tired as well.
Wonderful, thank you. Someone's asking, I'm not sure what this is, Revetiv Medic Machine Benefit AS?
If that's what I think it is, I think it's one of the circulation machines, so where it uses electrical stimulation in the muscles in the feet and legs. That's something probably to check with your rheumatologist, because I wouldn't advise that across the board. But I would say it's going to be more beneficial if you're actually doing the movement yourself to get the muscles moving and the muscles pumping. But definitely check with either your rheumatologist or your physio as well.
And someone's asking here about advice for pain and swelling in their toes.
So obviously you'd want to make sure that you've spoken to your doctor about this, just so you understand what's causing it. But if it is from general inactivity, then lots of things like walking or foot and ankle movements as you're sitting can be really helpful. But definitely if you're unsure what the cause is, then do speak to your doctor. I am available on the NAS helpline during the week, and you can also email me directly, zoe@nas.co.uk, if you want to have a chat about that in more detail.
Brilliant, thanks, Zoe. I know members all across the country have been singing your praises about the support you provided through the helpline, through the Facebook Live sessions, and you supported NAS, of course, on doing your sun salutations for the 2.6 challenge. So you've been an amazing support and asset to people right across the country, Zoe, during this time. So on behalf of all of us, really thank you for being such a stalwart and a supporter.
Thank you. It's been really nice to join you all, and glad I've been able to provide support. Actually, one note as well, Katie from the fundraising team has put together, I think the announcements have come up through the day as well, the summer stretch for NAS. So I'll join in with that, but hopefully lots of people will find that really beneficial, both to get you stretching, but also help do some fundraising as well.
That's wonderful. Yeah, the Summer Stretch for NAS campaign runs from July the 9th, so the 6th to the 19th. We're encouraging you to stretch for 15, 30 or 45 minutes a day for a fortnight to help raise much needed funds for NAS. So you'll hear more about that imminently. Zoe, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
So as we now just bring today to a close, just a few comments really from me to conclude. First of all, thanks to our speakers for being available on a weekend and to share their expertise and advice with us. And secondly, if I could just invite onto the stage, please, 4 people. So Helen Homersham, Jill Hamilton, and also from PSA, please, Richard Young and Dave Stoughton. If you could just invite yourselves onto the stage, that would be lovely. Okay, where's Dave? Is he being shy? No, he's not being shy. Good. Well, folks, I don't know about you, but I've never been to a virtual conference, anything like this, really. And when Helen and Jill first approached PSA and had a conversation, we were curious to see what today would look like. And I think from the feedback we've had so far, it's been an incredibly successful event and so much better than the usual Zoom and Skype meetings we've been doing since lockdown. So I want to first to thank the PSA team, Richard and David, also the kind of team as well supporting you. Fantastic day. Thank you for the support you provided to us and to members joining it. It's been a really good experience, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again very soon about more events like this, but wanted to express our thanks to you both for your support to us. And then really the masterminds of this, really, who've been working tirelessly for months. Members Day is the most important event in our calendar, and we work very hard, but especially this year, given COVID, it's been challenging to think about how we can best do this. So we'll seek your evaluation forms next week, I think, but really to thank Helen and Jill, who have been outstanding for months in creating this, working with speakers, working with PSA, and making today happen. If we were together, there'd be some flowers to pass to you, but we can't do that. We'll do it back in the office when we get back to the office next time. But on behalf of all of us, Helen and Jill, thank you so much for your hard work.
It's mostly Helen, so well done. And in typical live, being our home style, somebody was just on my door just before you brought me up on stage there.
Okay, well, look, that brings today's proceedings to a close. Thank you so much. Stay safe, enjoy the rest of the summer, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.